Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Richard, I'm Nigerian and I review Pakistani dramas. I have just finished watching Noor Jahan and I thought it was a fantastic drama. I really learned a lot from this. I really enjoyed it the whole way through because I think they touched on a lot of important themes in the drama that are relevant to Pakistani society and even for me, Nigerian society, which I felt was quite interesting. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And if you like the video, please give it a like. So the first thing I want to talk about is the theme of internalized misogyny. Ye bahut zaruri cheez hai. This was throughout the drama. This I think is what the drama was about. You could see this in Noor Jahan's beliefs, especially her beliefs about daughters, which to be honest, I found very disturbing, especially because this is another woman, a woman who was a daughter herself and a mother as well. I think this whole idea of, oh, fathers have to lower their heads because of their daughters in society and sons are more favored than daughters, all these things are things that you will think are very old ways of thinking. And even in my culture as well, there are places that have these beliefs. And it's not a surprise because this is a very common thing that happens. It doesn't matter how educated you are, these beliefs go very deep. And I felt like it was interesting that the drama really built on this point. Because of Noor Jahan's biases towards girls and daughters, she couldn't even accept her own granddaughter, which was a very painful thing for Hunaid and Safina to see. And even after Safina lost her first baby, Noor Jahan did not learn her lesson with the second child until the end. But what I think is interesting is that Noor Jahan actually gives a reason to why she thinks like this. She suffered the exact same thing. And the thing about this is that her mother-in-law must have gone through the same thing as well for her to also have the same perspective. So again, this just shows how the misogyny that these women experience actually sticks with them, and without even realizing it, they begin to do the same thing to other women. And basically in Noor Jahan's house, everybody comes second to Noor Jahan. Noor Jahan is the primary, the one at the top in this house. You could even say she acted like the man of the house, seeing all the women as less than men. And this brings me to my second point, which is generational cycles and trauma. As I talked about earlier, Noor Jahan is basically doing the same thing that she suffered when she married into this family. So you can see that cycle again that the daughter-in-laws are going through. And this is why I actually think that it was very important for Safina to have a girl at all costs, because that cycle needed to be broken. If she had only had another boy child, Noor Jahan probably would not have learned her lesson by the end of the drama. I think it was very important for a girl to come into this house so that Noor Jahan would realize that this cycle, all the trauma that comes with it needed to be stopped. Another example of this generational trauma is with Noor Jahan and Noor Bano's father. This is a classic situation where the children suffer because of the parents' issues. Because of their issues, they raise their children with the same hatred for their families. And this just shows you why it's so important for people to do some healing, because there's no reason for you to raise your children to hate another family when the issue is not between the children themselves. But in a lot of families in our cultures, this is exactly what happens, and it's a shame because it can be avoided. And one thing I noticed as I was watching this drama, sometimes I would just go to the comment section and read, and a lot of the comments were women saying that they're in this same exact situation with their mothers-in-law. So I think this just shows again how important Noor Jahan was for people to watch, because a lot of people can relate to it, and I think a lot of people would have learned things about their situation, or maybe about how to stop those generational cycles of trauma, which is very important. Third point is unhealthy attachment to parents. Noor Jahan's children, all of them, suffered from this. They cannot think without her. Whatever she says goes. Even if they know that it's wrong, they will not speak against their mother. And that there is a moral issue, because it doesn't matter if someone is a parent or an elder that is respected. If they're wrong and you know they're wrong, I don't think you should just allow them be wrong, especially if their decisions are affecting the lives of other people. All of Noor Jahan's decisions affected somebody in a negative way. Noor Jahan knows that she has this control over everybody in the house, but she uses it to her advantage and she is very manipulative. Her sons beat up Noor Bano's father because of Noor Jahan, even though she didn't ask them to do it, but they just did it anyway. And that is where that kind of attachment becomes toxic, because Noor Jahan doesn't have to tell them, do this, do this. They just do it. They act on their own, but it's in a very unhealthy way because of that deep toxic relationship or attachment to their mother. And this is something that happens a lot in society. I know a lot of Pakistani dramas that I have watched, they actually touch on this thing with mothers and their sons. The sons basically being controlled by the mothers, and it happens in real life as well. It's a very cultural example, and it's something that I think is important for people to watch and just realize. Junaid is probably the worst. He is the oldest son, but I think he has probably the most toxic relationship with his mother, in my opinion, because he will do anything for her and he has no limits. It's almost like a soldier and a general in the army. This, like, he was Noor Jahan's weapon to do whatever she wanted him to do. And because of that, he neglected his wife. He didn't stand up for his wife. He even caused his wife to lose her first baby. So things like this make you wonder if Junaid and Noor Jahan actually have a genuine relationship, or is it just like a transactional relationship where he just does whatever she wants and his only mission is to make her happy. The next theme I wanted to talk about is approval seeking. And this is throughout the whole drama, everybody wanted Noor Jahan's approval. In the beginning, Noor Bano wanted it, Safina wanted it herself, but I think Safina learned very early that she was never going to get it, so she distanced herself from that. But all the sons wanted it, Sumbul wanted it probably the most. And Sumbul's case was unique because she did not have parents of her own. So the only place for her to get that approval was from Noor Jahan, who was now her mother-in-law. But I like the fact that Noor Bano kind of realized over the course of the drama that Noor Jahan was actually very deceptive. And I like that Noor Bano started to rebel against Noor Jahan because she was like one of the few people to stand up to Noor Jahan very early in the drama, which I liked. But you can also see how in the beginning of the drama, when Noor Bano was seeking for Noor Jahan's approval, she turned against her own father. And that just shows, again, she wasn't able to really think for herself. She fell for all of Noor Jahan's lies and just wanting that approval of a mother, especially because her own mother had passed away. I think it's very important that the drama showed that complex relationship. When you look at people like Sumbul and Noor Bano who don't have a mother figure, it was very easy for them to gravitate towards Noor Jahan because they felt like she would give them that safety and security and that approval that they were looking for. And in the drama, we see that it's a very poisonous approval. It's not genuine at all. The next theme I want to talk about is strong women, weak men. This, I think, was a very interesting thing that the drama did because usually it's the men who are the strong ones. They make the decisions. They carry everybody along. But in this drama, in a very interesting way, I think it focused more on the women, the strength of the women and the weakness of the men. First, you can look at Maha. In the beginning, she was a strong character the whole drama. She was the one who was telling Safir, you have to stand up to your mother, we have to get married, you have to do this. Safir was the weak one. In the same way, you could say Safina was a very strong character in the house, but her strength was a quiet sort of strength. She was not loud, she didn't talk too much, but you could tell that she was very strong. Noor Bano, I think, was a more extreme version of Safina because she had the influence, she had the wealth to be able to be strong and stand up to Noor Jahan. Sumbul, she started out weak, but by the end of the drama, she became strong. And she was even able to stand up to Noor Jahan before her sons could stand up to her. The sons, for a lot of the drama, were very weak. I think Murad was the only one who kind of was a bit different from his brothers. But the sons, they could not defend their wives. They couldn't really think for themselves. And they just were very almost useless characters, especially Safir. I hated Safir from the beginning of the drama to the end, honestly. Junaid, I didn't like Junaid, but sometimes I would feel bad for him, especially as he was learning to love his wife and also deal with his mother. But I think this drama is a real lesson for men to learn how to actually be men. It's not just about having money or being strong or shouting at people. You actually have to love your wife. Especially if your mother or your parents are involved, you have to find a way to actually do the right thing. You can't let your wife or your kids or anybody who means a lot to you, you can't let them be manipulated or insulted. When you see that, you have to speak up. I think that's what being a man actually is. And I like the fact that this drama reminded all of us about that. The next theme I want to talk about is friendship and especially sisterhood. I don't think in all the Pakistani dramas that I've watched, I haven't really seen one that explored this relationship of sisterhood as deeply as Noor Jahan did. As a good example, we can look at Nimra and Maha. Honestly, I think that Nimra is probably the most loyal friend in all Pakistani dramas. She was very dependable. She arranged the wedding. She hosted Maha in her house when she was suicidal. She paid for her to fly back to Pakistan from Malaysia, and she paid for her mom's hospital bill. And she never complained about anything. She never asked for anything in return. Honestly, without Nimra, I don't think Maha would have survived. And I think that was a very beautiful relationship that the drama showed, because it reminds us of the importance of supporting our friends throughout whatever situation they may be in. So I like that loyalty there. And you can also see that aspect of sisterhood with the sister-in-laws in the house. And I like the simple moments in the house, maybe when they were sitting outside or working in the kitchen, where they could just talk and bond a bit. I like that aspect of sisterhood because they really needed it. They didn't have anybody else to rely on. And towards the end of the show, we see that Nurbano was able to help Sumbul get free from the house. She was there for her. But more interestingly, I want to talk a bit about the relationship between Haryali Bua and Noor Jahan, because I actually think the character of Bua was more important than we may think. When you look at it, you may think, oh, she's not that important as a character, but I think she was the moral compass for Noor Jahan. And Noor Jahan didn't always listen to her, but you can tell that she respected what she had to say. And for me, that is another example of the sisterhood of this drama, because I think without Haryali Bua's involvement in this drama, Noor Jahan may have made worse decisions. So I really like this aspect of friendship and sisterhood and mentorship among the women especially. And the last theme I want to talk about is revenge and control. This whole drama is about revenge. Everybody wanted to be in control to get revenge. Noor Jahan was making all the rules because she liked having control in the house. In the same way, Nurbano's father was on a mission to get revenge from Noor Jahan, and Noor Jahan was on a mission to get revenge from him. And later in the drama, we see that Nurbano's whole character arc was about getting revenge for her father. And even towards the end, between Murad and Nurbano, that scene where they finally talk about, they finally confront their issues, we learned that she didn't even love him anymore. She just wanted to get revenge. That is how focused she was on revenge. Bahut mushkil scene hai. There's so much going on, but I think they did a good job of showing that revenge and control, after a while, is not the important thing. I think the important thing is being able to repair relationships and admit when you are wrong. And you realize that even if you're really hurt about something, you don't have to carry that pain throughout, because sometimes when you make decisions based on pain, you hurt other people around you too. So I think the drama ended in a very nice way, and I think there was a big lesson to learn, because in life you just have to accept that you cannot control everything. So ye tha aaj ka review. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please comment, let me know what you think about Noor Jahan. Do you agree with all the things I was saying? Let me know if you have some other observations you made as well. But thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.